The Crescent Sea Adventure. On a cool summer night, as the crescent moon hung low over the ocean, a young girl named Marina sat by the shoreline, listening to the waves as they gently lapped against the rocks. Marina loved the ocean. She loved the sound of the waves, the salty breeze, and the shimmering lights that danced on the water under the moonlight. Tonight there was something different about the sea. The waves seemed to glow with a silvery blue light, and Marina felt a tug at her heart, as if the ocean was calling to her. Suddenly, she noticed a soft glow coming from between the rocks. Marina leaned closer, her eyes widening in surprise. There, nestled among the pebbles, was a shell unlike any she had ever seen. A large crescent-shaped shell that shimmered with an iridescent glow. She picked it up carefully, and as soon as her fingers touched it, the ocean seemed to come alive. The waves swirled, creating a glowing path that led out to the horizon. Before Marina could even think, the crescent shell in her hand began to glow brighter, and she felt herself being lifted up, as if the ocean had wrapped her in a gentle embrace. The water parted before her, revealing a hidden staircase made of shimmering coral leading down beneath the waves. Marina took a deep breath, her heart pounding with excitement and wonder. She stepped onto the coral stairs, the crescent shell still glowing warmly in her hand, and slowly made her way down, deeper and deeper, until she found herself in an underwater world unlike any she had ever imagined. She stood at the entrance of an underwater kingdom, a magnificent city made of coral towers, glowing kelp and sparkling seashells. Schools of colourful fish darted by, and jellyfish floated gracefully above, their tentacles glowing softly. Marina could hardly believe her eyes. She took a few steps forward, the coral path beneath her feet soft and warm, when suddenly she heard a voice. "Who enters the Crescent Sea?" a gentle voice called out. Marina looked up to see a sea creature, a young mermaid with flowing turquoise hair and a crown made of seashells. Her eyes were big and kind, sparkling like the ocean under the moonlight. The mermaid smiled at Marina. "My name is Nerida. You hold the crescent shell, which means you are here to help us." Marina blinked in surprise. "Help you? How can I help?" she asked, her voice filled with wonder. Nerida swam closer, her tail shimmering with every movement. "Our kingdom is in trouble," she explained, her voice tinged with sadness. "A powerful curse has taken away the light of the Crescent Sea. Without it, our kingdom will fade, and all who live here will lose their magic. Only a true friend of the ocean can break the curse, and the crescent shell chose you." Marina looked at the glowing shell in her hand, her heart filling with determination. "What do I need to do?" she asked. Nerida smiled, hope shining in her eyes. "To break the curse, you must find 3 enchanted treasures hidden in the kingdom: the pearl of light, the kelp of courage, and the whispering star. Each of these treasures holds magic that will restore the light to our kingdom." Marina nodded, ready for the challenge. Nerida took her hand, and together they swam through the kingdom. The water was warm and gentle, and Marina felt as though she was flying. Schools of fish swirled around them, and sea turtles glided by, their shells shimmering in the moonlight. They soon arrived at a garden made of glowing sea anemones, where the first treasure was hidden: the pearl of light. "The pearl is guarded by the sea guardians," Nerida explained, pointing to a group of tiny glowing seahorses. They were swirling around a beautiful pearl, their eyes watching Marina curiously. They will only give it to someone who shows kindness. Marina smiled gently at the seahorses, holding out her hand. "Hello, little friends," she said softly. "May I have the pearl of light? I promise to use it to help your kingdom." The seahorses looked at one another, then at Marina. Slowly, they swam towards her, and one of them nudged the pearl into her hand. Marina beamed, her heart swelling with happiness. "Thank you," she whispered. With the pearl of light safely in her pouch, Nerida led Marina to the next place. The Forest of Courage, a kelp forest that stretched high above them, the leaves glowing with a soft green light. As they swam through the forest, the water seemed to grow colder and the shadows grew darker. Marina could feel her heart pounding, but she took a deep breath and followed Nerida, determined to be brave. At the heart of the forest they found it, a single strand of kelp glowing brighter than the rest. Marina reached out to take it, but suddenly a dark shadow moved through the water. A large eel slithered out from behind the kelp, its eyes glinting menacingly. Marina felt a shiver of fear, but she stood her ground. "I won't let you scare me," she said, her voice steady. "I need this kelp to save your home." The eel stared at her for a moment, then slowly backed away, disappearing into the shadows. Marina carefully took the kelp of courage, her heart pounding with relief. Nerida hugged her tightly, her eyes shining. "You were so brave, Marina," she said. "Now, we just need one more treasure." The final treasure, the Whispering Star, was hidden in the deepest part of the kingdom, where the water was dark and still. Nerida led Marina to a cavern, its walls covered in glowing seaweed. At the center of the cavern lay a single star-shaped crystal, glowing faintly. "The Whispering Star holds the voices of the ocean," Nerida said softly. "To awaken it, you must share your heart's truest wish." Marina knelt beside the crystal, her hand resting gently on its surface. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "I wish for the Crescent Sea to be filled with light again," she whispered. "I wish for everyone here to be happy and safe." The crystal began to glow brighter, and Marina could hear soft whispers, the voices of the ocean, thanking her for her kindness. The Whispering Star lifted into the water, and Marina carefully placed it into her pouch with the other treasures. Nerida led Marina back to the center of the kingdom, where a large coral pedestal stood. Marina took out the pearl of light, the kelp of courage, and the Whispering Star, placing them one by one onto the pedestal. For a moment, everything was still. Then, a soft glow began to spread from the pedestal, growing brighter and brighter until the entire kingdom was bathed in a beautiful silvery light. The mermaids and sea creatures cheered, their eyes filled with joy. The coral towers glowed, the kelp swayed with renewed life, and the water sparkled like never before. Nerida hugged Marina, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You did it, Marina! You saved our home!" Marina smiled, her heart full of happiness. "I'm so glad I could help," she said. Nerida took Marina's hand, leading her back to the coral staircase. "The crescent shell will always bring you back when you want to visit," she said. "You are a true friend of the ocean." Marina hugged Nerida tightly before stepping onto the coral stairs. She felt herself being lifted back up, the water parting around her until she found herself back on the shore, the crescent shell still glowing softly in her hand. She looked out at the ocean, the waves shimmering under the moonlight, and she knew that the magic of the Crescent Sea would always be with her. With a smile, Marina made her way back home, her heart filled with wonder and joy. As she drifted off to sleep that night, she dreamed of glowing coral towers, friendly mermaids, and the beautiful Crescent Sea, knowing that more adventures awaited her beneath the waves. The end.